And Devasheesh, this entire thing would outlive this webinar. So it will be a YouTube video, which will be on the YouTube channel also of ours. So what we do is, ये घंटे को हम 20-25 मिनट करके हम उस पे डालते हैं.
Sir, one thing I
so
want.
roughly how much?
Sir, you're on mute. I've given you unmuting access.
Okay. So it will be about 45 minutes to 1 hour, all put together, of which the initial explanation would be about 35 minutes kind of thing. Yeah. Shubhangi, just remove all students from the video format, please.
Yes, sir. Only Devasheesh sir is on
No,
paying.
there is one Faisal here.
I'll just see that.
Faisal, आपको unmute कर लेना. हाँ, perfect. Can we start off, Shubhangi, while
we are live now. We are ready to go.
Perfect.
Hi everyone. Today's session is all about the future of healthcare growth and opportunities. We have with us Professor Devasheesh Mathur, Assistant Professor. We have with us Professor Devasheesh Mathur, Assistant Professor at Goa Institute of Management, which is ranked 36 in NIRF 2022 and also happens to be the first business school from India to be inducted in the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. To know more about Professor Devasheesh Mathur, he is a graduate from IIT Bombay in Metallurgical Engineering and Material Science and has earned his doctorate from the School of Public Policy and Governance, MDI, Gurgaon. He is currently an assistant professor at Goa Institute of Management. His primary research areas include public service innovations, public health systems, and policy analysis. He also works with World Health Organization and National Health Agency on various projects related to policy monitoring and impact evaluations. He is one of the founding members of Indian Public Policy Network and a member of Confederation of Indian Industries, Association of Public Policy and Management, Academy of Management, and International Public Policy Association. We welcome you, Mr. Devasheesh. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Varadhi. It's really nice to be here. Thanks.
We have with us Mr. Mahesh Perry, CEO and founder, Careers360. And with this, I would request Mahesh sir to please take over.
Shubhangi, first of all, can you mute everyone but for me and Devasheesh, please?
Yes, I'll do that.
Everyone.
So please unmute yourself. I've given you the access.
So students, we are muting everyone but for Professor Devasheesh because the initial set of questions will come from me. And the idea is to ensure that a broader set of questions are asked which have a relevance for all of you. And then we'll start unmuting you, each of you, as and when you are supposed to be asking a question. So that's the reason why I muted everyone, nothing otherwise. So thanks, Devasheesh, for joining in today. Devasheesh, and I'll also, by the way, remove myself from the video because I want Professor Devasheesh to be talking to you every single time. So I'm doing that right now. Professor Devasheesh, first of all, can you tell us more about Goa Institute of Management, its legacy, when it was formed, how it was formed, and the kind of institution that it is?
Sure. So first of all, very good evening. Hello, namaste to everyone. It's good to see you. Good to see you all here virtually. So I'm happy to be talking to all of you. GIM is now, entering in its 30th year because it was established by Father Romuald de Souza in 1993. So roughly around 30 years from now. And he is a well-known educator, and he established the Xavier Institute in Bhubaneswar. And he, being a Goan, he came back to Goa in 93. And he felt that Goa should have a good business school because back then there was no management institution in Goa. So that is the genesis of the institute, where for the first 17 years, GIM was actually housed in a very old heritage building, which was the second oldest medical college in India, which was just quite near to Panjim, which a lot of you would know, and I'm sure you would have visited also. We moved to this new campus, which is a very which is on top of a Western Ghat hill. So we are actually in the hills of Goa. It's a very beautiful campus sitting on a hilltop, a 50-acre campus, which from the outside, it does not look like it will be, it will have all the amenities like we have. So it's a very unique campus, and I wish I had also studied here. not just because it's in Goa, but it's a very well-equipped campus, which you would not want to leave. So in 93 it started, and in 2013, in the 20th year, we started the second program, which is the PGDM Healthcare Management Program. And then since then, we have started other programs as well. So the institute has been maturing. Right now, we admit about close to 500 students every year. So on campus, there are at least 1,000 students residing on campus. And majority of the faculty members also live on campus. So it's a very hustling, bustling campus with the gymnasium and the sports arena always occupied, and the student faculty interaction is always very friendly, very open, transparent. So it's quite unlike any other education institution. I hope that answers.
Yeah. And Devasheesh, can you also tell the students the kind of programs that Goa Institute of Management offers? We know the general management and healthcare
Sure.
management, but if you can just tell the programs and the intake per program.
Yeah, I'll do that. So the first program which I mentioned, and which is the largest program for GIM, is the PGDM program. PGDM, we also call it PGDM Core, because other programs are sector-specific programs. So PGDM takes in about 240 students every year. The second program, the second oldest program, is the PGDM Healthcare Management Program, which I am associated with, which is again now in its 10th year. And our intake is 60 students every year. The third one, which we started around 2017, was the Big Data Analytics Program. In short, it's called as PGDM BDA. And the intake for that is 120 students. And the latest in the line of our PGDM programs is Banking, Insurance and Financial Services, BIFS, which also takes in 60 students now. So all four programs put together. And then we also have Executive MBA program for, working professionals, people who have more than, 3 years work experience. And we also have a doctoral program, FPM, people who want to do PhD in management.
And Devasheesh, one of the things that we noticed is that when a B school offers so many programs, the recruiters at times come for the core, and then so how does the placement pan out? For example, a Max Healthcare, when they come in, would they prefer core or would they come to the healthcare MBA directly?
It's quite a valid question, but not a difficult one to answer, because recruiters typically, they know about the programs quite well. Also because within the recruiters, we have our alum base, so a lot of graduates from the institutions are a part of that organization. So when they come here, they have all the information with them. So like you said that for Max Healthcare, it largely depends on the job role. So let's say if they want to hire a salesperson, who would go on to become a regional sales manager and from on that move up the ladder, then they would want someone who knows the healthcare landscape. So I would think that Max Healthcare, when they come for a sales profile, they would prefer to pick up from healthcare background, because they would understand the products better, and they can talk to doctors and patients better than people who don't understand the healthcare sector from the managerial perspective. But let's say for other profiles, if they want a data analyst, then I think they would prefer a graduate of the big data program, because they would understand data better and they don't need to understand the healthcare. They don't need to have the healthcare background as such. So it largely is, a factor of which profile they are coming for. And we have seen that there are organizations which pick students from all the four programs, depending on what is their requirement.
And Devasheesh, because it's a 30-year-old institution, Goa Institute of Management, would you mind talking of the alumni that you have, which is working all over the world, and how strong it is, the network, and how it helps the students through their, not just at placement level, but through their life, the kind of network that you build, because 30 years is a long, long life for any institution, isn't it?
So what we are very proud of is that in these last 30 years, we have close to, 4,000 plus alumni spread, all over the world. I'm not really aware about the fact, but our footprint must be there in, almost 30, 40 countries. I know that we have a Singapore chapter, there's an Australia chapter. Every year we have an alumni meet in Sydney, Singapore, UAE, US, and places like that, European countries. So because 30 years is a long time, and a lot of people are now into the senior management of a lot of companies. So we have a very strong alumni base, which I have seen that they are very closely connected with the institute, because GIM, unlike other institutions, it's neither a university nor it's like a private university. It was founded by a Jesuit priest, and our philosophy has always been imparting education, not earning profits, or we are not in the race of what typically other business schools are. So what it translates into is that a lot of alumni, even like 25-year-old alumni, someone I met recently, someone from 97 batch, they always visit our campus. They willingly participate in donation drives, in whatever means they can. So for a student, what it means is we have a very ready-made database of all the alumni where they are currently working, and it's get updated regularly. So whenever a student, so it starts with, if the placement committee has to invite a new organization with whom we don't have a relationship with, we always try to find if there is an alumni there. It makes our job easier. And the moment we reach out to them, they willingly accept that, okay, we'll come and recruit from GIM, because we know what this institute stands for. So the recruitment process, helps a lot to the graduating students, because a lot of alumni, they come in to recruit, and though they understand the value of a GIM education. Secondly, it also helps later in the career. Let's say you have passed out 5 years back, and now you are trying to switch, jobs. You are trying to move into a different sector, or you are trying to find a job in another country. That is the time when this alumni network will really help you out, because you can just reach out to anyone. You don't know someone 10 years senior to you. You can just message them on LinkedIn, or you can even find out through our alumni relationship committee their contact information and coordinates, and they will surely respond to you. That's the strong connection that alumni have. So moving to a new company, new country, that becomes much more easier, because you are a part of a very prestigious and elite alumni base.
So one more thing that I would just ask before I jump on to healthcare management, Devasheesh, is a lot of people in India, a lot of students in India understand the ranking of an institution. Now, and ranking is, in a certain sense, of course, a byproduct, but you also have things don't move on a yearly basis. Things don't improve year on year for a education institution. But Goa Institute of Management is also AACSB accredited. It sets up a set of processes, a set of do's and don'ts, a set of missions and objectives that the institution has to have. So can you, for the student, explain to the students the importance of accreditations such as AACSB, and how the international a student is slightly becomes more mobile internationally, because there are only a set of AACSB institutions in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't even emphasize that point enough, which obviously students, they are a little distant from that perspective. But accreditation is essentially, if I were to use these words, it's a thappa of quality, by an unbiased, impartial agency. And it's a very long drawn process. It does not happen overnight, like you said. Most of these accreditations, their evaluation cycle itself is like 3 to 5 years. So by the time if we start today, then if all goes well, and if we are doing everything correct, then we'll get our accreditation 3 to 5 years from now. But once you do that, it essentially means that now you are a part of a global what should I say, a global group of elite schools, which are of the same level, which essentially means that now if Harvard Business School is also AACSB accredited, or Oxford said Business School is also AMBA accredited, the institutions anywhere in the world which are given accreditation by these agencies, the real meaning is that your level of education is at par with all the other institutions anywhere in the world. So which is a big thing for, especially for Asian institutions, because we constantly, for a long time, we've struggled, with Western, universities and institutions. We have had a problem of brain drain, but I think now we reached a point in time where Indian students don't need to, blindly go to Western countries, because a management education of equal level is available in our own country. So that is the value of accreditation. So be it AMBA, AMBA, Association of Management Institutions, or AACSB or SAQS, it essentially is that quality ka thappa that you are doing what other globally known business schools are doing. And that translates into our classroom education, that translates into the research work that the faculty members are doing. Everything, how we conduct ourselves, how we create the curriculum, how our recruitment goes through, and what the alumni will be doing, everything is impacted by that.
Just for the students, I just want to add this here, students, it's extremely important for you to understand why we talk of international accreditation. There are three big accreditations in the world, EQUAS, AMBA, and AACSB. When you do get into an institution with any of these three accreditations, wherever you go around the world, an AACSB accreditation student is seen on par with another AACSB accredited institution. So your mobility, international mobility, becomes that much more easier. The second part of it is that your research, your collaborations, your partnerships, your student exchange becomes that much more equitable and easier if you join an institution with such accreditations.
Yeah. Exactly.
One of the important things of these accreditations is that it's a long drawn process, and it has reasonable amount of stability to it, and a process that is defined, that is not defined over next 3 months and all, but they keep monitoring your work, not just at the entry point, but till you keep moving towards that. So to a certain extent, it is not a one-time entry and an exit. It is one-time entry and a continuous audit of your work to ensure that what you promised and what you committed is being actually achieved, and the outcome is being achieved. So my suggestion to all the students here is, don't just look at ranking. Ranking is one time, yearly, it is done, and a lot of institutions do it. But please go after the accreditations, especially if any of these institutions have an international accreditation. Be clear of one thing, that it's a very good institution, and it stands testimony to not just a year of performance, but a period of performance with a commitment to perform in future also. I just wanted to put in a record. Thank you so much, Devasheesh. I'm sorry, I just had to step in.
No worries. You actually managed to articulate it better. That's what I wanted to say also.
Thanks so much. Now, Devasheesh, about healthcare management, how does a student decide whether they want to do core management or a specialized management? Because there's so many specializations, and there is always a debate amongst the student of whether they should do core or they should do a specialization. What is your suggestion to a student?
I would say two things. First being that there's a myth that, or not really a myth, there's a lack of information on sector-specific programs like healthcare. If a student enrolls into a PGDM healthcare program, it does not mean that there is no overlap with the core program. In the first year, actually, the courses are common, because we are imparting at the end of the day an MBA degree, right? So even a student enrolled into a healthcare management program or big data or BIFS or any other sector specific program, they will have to go through the fundamentals of marketing, the marketing 101, the financial accounting, the managerial accounting, the organizational behavior, all those. So those courses are common between all the courses, because that lays the foundation for any type of manager. The value of sector specific programs is that these programs teach you the application of management concepts in a very specific sector, which perhaps you as a student want to build a career into. So if I take the example of healthcare, we don't restrict, we don't have any admission criteria. It's open to anyone. We welcome not only people from healthcare background. So we do have a lot of MBBS degree holders, BDS, BPharm. But on the same hand, we also have a lot of students who are engineers, who are BCom graduates, who are BA, economics honors, and a lot of these types of courses. So the list of courses, from which the students belong to is a long list. But that does not become a hindrance for the students. So the very first question when you ask that whether a student should do core or healthcare, my suggestion always has been that if you're not clear which sector or which industry you will join after your MBA, then perhaps doing a core is a better option, because in your second year you can decide that which domain, or you can wait till your recruitment drive, what type of recruiters are coming, or what happens very frequently in the job market. Some years IT companies might pick up more, so you can get absorbed by IT companies. In another years, FMCG might be on top, or data analyst roles are on top, so you might join there. So if you're not driven by any passion for any particular industry, then go for core. But let's say if you even if you're not a doctor, even if you're not from healthcare, but you do have a passion to work in healthcare, you're driven by, the common sentiments we find in students is that they want to help, the country's healthcare infrastructure, they want to help people, they are carrying those sentiments. So then healthcare is a good field, but don't carry the myth that you will be bound by a particular segment. Because you are doing MBA, your degree will always say MBA. You can always go and work for other fields, because you would know marketing, you would know sales, you would know operations. So your choice is dependent on what you are driven by, what field. If you're a fresher, if you were to ask this question, which field I would want to join, if the answer is healthcare, then join healthcare. If the answer is I want to go and work for financial services, then join BIFS. So it's that simple.
So are you suggesting that a student can make a choice of joining a healthcare or BIFS after year one? Does he have an option here?
No. So I'm not saying that. Once you have taken admission into a program, then you will have to stick to it.
Okay.
But I don't see that as a problem, because as I said, the 50% of the curriculum is almost similar. Okay. It's just that the teaching will be done in a manner. In healthcare, we will use more cases from healthcare. In BDA, the cases and examples and simulations are more from data science background, and similar for BIFS. But once you have taken admission, then you have to see through it.
Okay, I've understood the spirit of it, but in terms of the letter part of it, Devasheesh, the qualification that the student gets is MBA in healthcare management, or does he get a qualification called MBA?
No, so they get their degree certificate will be MBA in healthcare management.
Okay, perfect. That's important for me to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so now just talk us through the kind of students that should be selecting a healthcare management, or just talk of healthcare management and the kind of students who should actually prefer healthcare management.
Yeah. So for us, actually, I will reiterate what I just said. So we are only looking for students who are passionate about healthcare. Doesn't matter whether you are an engineer, never have worked in a healthcare field. But what we check out while admissions is their motivation, that they have a clear idea of what kind of an organization they would want to join, even if they don't understand what that job will entail, but at least have an idea of why you are joining a healthcare management program. So let me put it out there that what the course is like. So in our healthcare management program, we divided into 6 different verticals or 6 different segments. And we are the only program which does that, because it lends a lot of clarity to students and the curriculum also. So our curriculum is divided into the 6 domains are pharmaceutical, medical devices, health insurance, health IT, public health, and the last one is hospital management, which also reflects into the kind of recruiters we have. So we have recruiters from pharmaceutical industry, we have recruiters from medical device, insurance, public health, hospitals, and health IT. So if any students are driven by, we get a lot of students who let's say have work experience. They, people who are, let's say, for example, software engineers. We have few students in our current batch, they have worked in a data science role for Cognizant, but their clients were US based and they worked in the healthcare domain. They crunched numbers for health insurance companies in US. So they naturally, gravitated towards, when they thought of doing an MBA, they realized that their experience and their knowledge bank is well suited for a management in MBA in healthcare management program, because they also want to, after MBA, want to go and work for the same organizations. and keep on moving up the ladder. So that kind of clarity is what we are looking for. So either if you have worked or what kind of job role you want for yourself.
So try to dig it deeper, Devasheesh. Are we saying that you don't need to be from the life sciences space or allied sciences at your graduation level to do a MBA in healthcare management? In the sense, people don't need to know biology, zoology, and the stuff. PCB students.
Yeah.
For them to prefer healthcare management, any student can prefer. Am I right?
Any student can prefer because see, the idea is this program makes you a manager, a person who will manage healthcare. If you go and work for pharmaceutical company, you will be managing the production of a medicine, right? You would, so the science of how the medicine treats the patients, that is for the clinical researchers to understand and the doctors to prescribe, right? Your part is how to make that product and launch it into the market. That's what MBA teaches you. So what a doctor would definitely do well in such a program because they understand the delivery part of it. But doctors don't really know how medicines are produced. What is the science behind the chemical engineering, right? So if you choose to go and work for a pharma company, you would actually go and visit the plant and understand the whole operations side of it. That what is the volume of medicines you're making, how you will transport it, how will you price it. If you work on the marketing side, you will create a go-to-market strategy. How do we launch a new drug into the market? Something which we have observed, right through the pandemic, new vaccines were made. So the pricing strategy, the launching strategy, that is what managers do. So that is what the healthcare management program will tell you. You don't need to understand the biology and the very physiology of the patients, because that's not. There are doctors for that. I'll just say that. So you will just do the other part of healthcare management.
So in terms of weightages, when you're interviewing students, one who's a BTech in civil engineering or computer sciences and one who's done BTech in biotechnology engineering,
Yeah.
would there be a greater weightage for a student who's chosen it very early in life?
There's no greater weightage. There's a slight so we have a point system when we shortlist the candidates. We assign on a scale of 1 to 5. If someone belongs to healthcare background, then we assign 5 points to that candidate out of 100. And if you're not from healthcare background but you have worked in a healthcare field, then also we assign a 5 point value to that. Compared to all the others someone who is a fresher and someone who is not from life sciences will probably score a 0 to 1. So the difference ultimately out of 100 will be only of 5 points out of 100, because everything else will be your 10th marks, 12th marks, your graduation marks, and your work experience, plus your entrance exam score, your CAT or Z score. So it's a composite score where we do assign some value, but it does not make much of a large difference.
In terms of your class of MBA in healthcare management, can you give us a pie chart of the kind of students that are there in terms of the profile? How many are BTech? How many? Just generally, you understood my question. So
yeah, I do. In fact, that is a very interesting pie chart, and it has almost remained same always, both in terms of what fields people come from, what graduation they have done. So I feel my perception, without looking at the real numbers, my perception is half the batch is from life sciences, which constitutes of MBBS, BDS, and Ayurved, people who have medicine degree from Ayurved and even homeopath. So MBBS, BDS, BAMS and BHMS constitute about 30 out of 60 every year. The rest 30 is I think about 15 are engineers of all types. We have mechanical engineer in our batch, we have computer science engineers. Always we find 5 to 6 engineers, comp science, and then other types, civil engineers, and even other types. And the rest, remaining 15, are from arts and humanities, and 5 to 6 we always get from BCom, commerce background. So that is a pie chart. But the interesting pie chart is also that we always have about 60-40 ratio in favor of females. every year in healthcare.
Which actually follows the need thing also. In medical
Yep.
science also, you actually follow the same thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, it's very interesting. I always find it very interesting for a country like India. The BTech ratio is inverse in BSc. So if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have 70%, 75% BTech to be male students, you have 70% students in BSc to be female students.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have seen that personally.
Yeah.
In my engineering days, we had 1:13 ratio, and in some fields of engineering, there were zero females, like in a batch of 100.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I hope it corrects itself at some point in time, because the other thing that also happens is at a placement level, you see the national institutes having more male students because the female students are not mobile enough, which I find it very, very unfair even today. But I do see
Yeah.
that difference.
But luckily, we have not observed that, especially in our program, the healthcare management program. As I said, there are 60, females for every 40 boys. And, in our informal interaction, we've always found that their mobility has been, even before coming to GM, they were very mobile. So typically they are very strong-willed women who have made decisions for themselves.
Yeah, but I think your audience is dramatically different. I'm talking of a larger demographics. That's what happens.
I would agree. Yeah.
In terms of the kind of companies that come for placement, Devasheesh, in the healthcare management portfolio, what kind of companies come for recruitment?
So, as I said earlier, the companies can be divided as per those 6 verticals: pharma, med device, insurance, IT, hospitals, and public health. If I go by the sheer number of recruiters and compare them, then we get a lot of most of the recruitment of late, very recently for the last 2 or 3 years, has been happening in the IT industry, because almost every IT company now has a healthcare vertical, and they have a lot of healthcare clients, especially abroad in American and European markets. So most of our students go and join, typically as so we have, like, I was interacting with one alumni today morning itself, and he's working for Optum, and another one works for Samatech. These are just some names of companies which have been recruiting from our programs, and they are in the role of either senior data analyst. So they analyze the numbers, and then they inform the leadership about the strategy when they're launching the product and things like that, or they crunch the numbers for their clients, their international clients. So IT being one, and we have sufficient number of courses which teaches. So I'll use this opportunity to mention that a lot of students from life sciences background, they have this fear of, let's say, mathematics or computational abilities, software skills, coding abilities. We have enough number of courses, and we devote enough time to tutor students, make them go through workshops, so that these recruiters find them invaluable to their company. Other than IT, we have big recruiters are your typical pharma giants. If I name them, Johnson & Johnson, and other similar companies. So even Bharat Biotech came for our latest recruitment drive. We also have big number of recruitments happening in medical device industry. So all your companies like Stryker or Zimmer Biomet, these are all MNC companies headquartered in Gurgaon or Bangalore, and they take them for different roles, like either product manager or area sales manager, regional sales manager, and things like that. Even brand manager. A lot of people are enthused about marketing, so every company will have a marketing role, and our students end up there. Then in decreasing order, we have companies which take from let's say public health. So government also comes in. We have a partnership with Niti Aayog, so students also can go and join there. The government's think tank also, National Health Center for the NHSRC. So the least one are hospitals. We have enough number of hospitals who are interested in our candidates, but we want better roles for our students. So they gravitate towards other side of healthcare than hospitals.
Prabha, can you start taking questions? This is my last question to Devasheesh before the students step in. So Devasheesh,
Mahesh, I can barely hear you. Your volume is
sorry.
Yeah.
Prabha, can you start letting the students in for the questions? I'll take one question with Devasheesh while you start the queue. Devashish, last question from my side. Post-COVID, have you seen a surge of demand for graduates trying to, doing MBA in healthcare management?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did
Oh,
that.
yeah. We definitely, it's definitely there. It has essentially highlighted the point that we already knew from much before, that healthcare is a recession-proof, crisis-proof segment. Healthcare will always be in demand because that is the most basic human need, right? So I'm not even talking about hospitals. I'm talking about managers to produce quality medicines, managers to produce quality medical devices, managers to design proper insurance packages and then make sense of claims and things and so on, right? So, there are sectors which will suddenly surge, boom, and things like that. But healthcare has always been one of the fastest growing sectors. What COVID did was it made healthcare the fastest growing sector. In India, it's growing at 22% CAGR. Globally, also, it's somewhere around 18 to 20% CAGR. So, if you work for a healthcare company, the profits for your company will be growing at these numbers for sure. And as you can see, even at home in India, the government's focus has been on healthcare, be it Ayushman Bharat or digital health mission. So the percentage of GDP going into healthcare will increase aggressively. It has to. Otherwise, so because the COVID and otherwise also the growth is very aggressive, we need a lot of managers which are not available right now. So we need to have managers who understand the whole landscape holistically rather than only focusing on hospitals or only one vertical. So that's why we have this program having 6 verticals.
Actually, completely with you, because I think COVID has taught us that health is more important than anything else. So the investments are moving more into that direction across governments, across families, across people. So it's not limited to one branch of who, it's government led, industry led, people led, families led. So
yeah. In fact, if I recall it right, I was reading a report where it mentioned that during the 2 years of pandemic, there has been a delta increase of 100 million people who have bought insurance of either kind, health or life insurance, after the pandemic. Absolutely. So that is the sudden increase in numbers. People now realize that health and life are important and it can go away anytime.
Yeah. Students, you can raise your hand and we'll start letting you in to ask questions. The first question comes from Srinidhi Inamdar. Srinidhi, can you unmute Srinidhi, please?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, Srinidhi.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening.
So actually, I'm doing PharmD. It is a doctor of pharmacy. Is it doing worth MBA after PharmD?
Yeah. So I won't take the liberty to answer that question for you. That's for you yourself to decide. But one of our gold medalists from before and one of the best performing students was a PharmD, and back then he got the historically high placement. So I would say that the evidence suggests that having a PharmD degree would make you a very desirable candidate for recruiters. So if you're thinking from recruitment perspective, I think you would be an ideal candidate and you would have a lot of job offers because you have spent enough time understanding pharmacy and the whole industry. In terms of course also, the course is as I said, as I was answering other questions, you would be an ideal candidate also in terms of the course because you understand most part of the industry. You just need to come here to fill in your gaps in terms of what are the operations of a pharmaceutical manufacturing plant, or how hospitals deliver care, or even if you have an inkling for data analysis, then you can even do that here. So it will be a very wise decision if you choose to do MBA in healthcare.
So Srinidhi, I'll also add to what Devashish said just now. Most recruiters love people who have a very clear intent of what they want to do and pursue in their life. If you've done PharmD and also do an MBA in health sciences, you will be right ahead of the queue with the best companies to be the first recruited candidate possibly.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, your intent is shown because you've done PharmD and then you moved on not to a core MBA but to an MBA in health sciences. You will be much ahead of the queue, and the first recruiter who comes in will first look at you and then anyone else. That's the way I look at the whole thing.
Totally agreed. Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah, we had Puneet actually who was raising his hand throughout the entire session, so I was just searching for him.
okay.
Puneet, you can ask your question or raise your hand. In the meantime, I just
you asked the questions that have come in chat
Yeah.
also, no, Prabha? There are a lot of questions
Yeah.
in the chat.
yeah. Shubhangi, do you have?
There's a question from Pranay. He says that he has completed his BSc in microbiology and now is thinking of pursuing a master's in public health, but he's unsure of the career path here. What's the scope if he goes for master's in public health?
Oh, okay. Hi, Pranay. I hope you can hear me. I'm making some assumptions here. I hope you're comparing. So our program is MBA in healthcare. It's not an MPH program. It's not Master's in Public Health. So if you are asking me to compare the MPH program offered by other institutions and compare it with our PGDM Healthcare Management, so I'm going to answer that way. So as it's obvious that, when you do Masters in Public Health, your job opportunities are within the domain of public health, which means that you can go and work for intergovernmental agencies. Probably you can go and work for WHO or UNICEF like agencies as their program manager and then program director and things like that. But you obviously need to have a lot of passion for that kind of a job. Or otherwise, you can go and work for, let's say, think tanks, which are very limited in number in India. Hopefully, it grows very soon. Or typically, what I've seen is MPH graduates, they go and work for NGOs, not for profit or not non-governmental organizations, because their passion lies in working on the ground. When I compare it with MBA in healthcare, the job roles are quite different. Not entirely different. There is some bit of overlap for those students, our students who go and work in public health space. But everyone else who goes to work for profit companies, then the job roles are very different. You are going and working in a healthcare space, but you're working for profit companies, pharma companies, med device, IT companies. What I can answer from my own experience, because I have been there. If you're worried about the impact, you might think that MPH students get to impact healthcare more than, MBA graduates. I would say it's a matter of time horizon. Maybe MPH graduates can make an impact, a visible impact, if they go and work in villages, maybe in the next, 5-7 years. But that will be limited because then you will need more funds. While MBA graduates make long-lasting impact if their products are successful in the market, even though they are earning profits of it. So it will be seen, 8-10 years from now. But those are long-lasting impacts. So that's a key difference, if you ask me.
Abhishek Tiwari, you had a question. Would you want to ask now? Abhishek? Can you unmute Abhishek Tiwari? I think he was raising his hand earlier.
Yes, sir. So there's one more question actually.
Yeah, please.
From chat.
Yeah.
So they're asking that the 6 domains that you cover in PGDM are they also covered in 1-year executive program?
Oh, okay. So we don't have a 1-year executive program for healthcare. In fact, none of our sector-specific programs are 1 year. So there is no 1-year MBA in healthcare. We only have an executive MBA, and that's also not for 1 year. That's for 3 years. So that's a different type of program. So the simplest answer is we don't have that, if that's what you're looking for. But I can add to that we will soon be launching an online program, which will be a condensed version of this healthcare management program, which can be done in 1 year.
So this is a question from Abhishek Devasheesh.
Yeah.
What kind of internships does a healthcare management MBA provide, and do they normally convert to a pre-placement offer?
Okay. That's a most common question. So I would say that, so we all the students end up in a summer internship program because in parallel to final recruitment, we always have the summer internship recruitment also. So the process is same. When the students start their term 2 around October, the recruitment for summer internships start. To answer your first half of the question, the internships are similar to the final placements, actually, to be honest. So they go and work for the similar type of organizations which I have named earlier. So they can be pharma companies, IT companies, and med device companies. And typically, during the internship, the interns do. So if you are hired for a market research role, then the 2 months or roughly around 10 weeks of internship which you do with that company, you would be creating a project where you'll do a market research for an actual product which the company is going to launch soon in the market. So you'll collect real-time data, and you will make sense of that data, and you can do statistical analysis. You can apply a lot of frameworks which you learn in the classroom, and you can advise. So a lot of students, when they come back, so it's mandatory for students when they come back from summer internship to make a presentation in front of a faculty panel. So every year, a lot of students mention this, that when we made our final presentation to the company, the CEO was present there, and the CEO and the senior leadership took a lot of advice from us because we spent time on the ground interacting with a lot of stakeholders. So to answer your second question, what I have observed, I'm not in charge for placement, so my numbers might slightly vary. But what I've observed is about roughly around 15 to 20% of students convert their pre-placement offers, which are typically the bigger recruiters who recruit for, who are the higher paying or well-known recruiters. So that's where the number stabilizes.
Okay. Mark, can you unmute Mark, please? He will ask the question. Mark?
So he has been unmuted.
Yeah, Mark, please go on. No, you're not unmuted him, Shubhangi.
So I've given him the access. He unmuted himself, but I don't know why he's not.
Okay. Ritu Jadown. Ritu, can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah, go on, ask your question.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Can I talk Hindi?
Yeah,
Of course,
please.
बिल्कुल शौक से.
Sir, my question is कि after NEET हम medicine मतलब जो हम मेडिसिन अगर बनाना चाहें कोई भी, तो क्या हम मतलब MBBS के साथ उस फील्ड में भी वर्क कर सकते हैं?
ओके, मैं सवाल समझ गया आपका. आप जब MBA करके जाओगे, इवन इफ यू हैव डन MBBS, MBBS ग्रेजुएट अगर फार्मा कंपनी के लिए काम करेगा, तो 2 चीजें होती हैं. देयर इज एक टीम होती है जो क्लिनिकल रिसर्च करती है, राइट, जो फॉर्मुलेशन बनाते हैं. तो मेरी जानकारी में मुझे नहीं लगता कि आप फॉर्मुलेशन बना सकते हो, बिकॉज उसके लिए साइंटिस्ट होते हैं, राइट. तो जिन लोगों ने उस टाइप की साइंस पढ़ी है, वही लोग फॉर्मुलेशन बनाएंगे और फिर उसको क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स में डालेंगे, राइट. लेकिन आप एक MBA ग्रेजुएट होने के तौर पे आप क्या कर सकते हो कि आप उनको ये बता सकते हो कि क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स कहाँ करनी चाहिए. आप एक स्ट्रैटेजी बना के दे सकते हो कि अगर आप इंडियन मार्केट के लिए एक मेडिसिन बना रहे हो, तो अर्बन सिटीज की बजाय उसको गांव में जाके टेस्ट करो, ताकि आपको बड़ा वॉल्यूम मिलेगा मार्केट का. तो आप उनको मार्केटिंग की स्ट्रैटेजी बना के दे सकते हो, आप उनको प्रोडक्ट की स्ट्रैटेजी बना के दे सकते हो, एंड फॉर्मुलेशन को छोड़ के आप बाकी सारे काम कर सकते हो कि कैसे, क्या उसकी प्राइसिंग होनी चाहिए, क्या कौन से कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं, तो कॉम्पिटिटर एनालिसिस करके दे सकते हो आप उनको, जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा वैल्यूएबल होता है किसी भी कंपनी के लिए. क्योंकि फॉर्मुलेशन बनाना तो हर कंपनी को आता है, उसको मार्केट कैसे करना है, लॉन्च कैसे करना है, कौन यूज करेंगे, वो नहीं आता हूँ काफी कंपनीज को. सो वो ही चाहते हैं. यही सवाल था ना आपका?
I think largely that's what it is, Devasheesh.
Yeah.
I got it. Amarjit, can you unmute yourself, please? Amarjit? Shubhangi,
Hello.
Amarjit, को unmute. Yeah, please go on.
गुड इवनिंग सर.
हाय, गुड इवनिंग.
सर एक्चुअली मैं कॉमर्स बैकग्राउंड से बिलोंग करता हूँ. मैं
Okay.
मास्टर्स ऑफ कॉमर्स परस्यू कर रहा हूँ अभी.
अच्छा.
एंड मेरे कैट के परसेंटाइल भी अच्छे नहीं है, तो क्या मैं हेल्थ केयर मैनेजमेंट के लिए एलिजिबल हूँ क्या?
हाँ, आप जरूर एलिजिबल हैं, बिकॉज हमारे ऑफिशियली एंड प्रैक्टिकली हम लोग कोई कट ऑफ रखते नहीं है, बिकॉज जैसा मैं पहले बोल रहा था कि ये प्रोग्राम उन लोगों के लिए है जो हेल्थ केयर फील्ड में काम करने के लिए बहुत पैशनेट है, राइट। और पैशन हम कट ऑफ से जज नहीं कर सकते, राइट। तो उसका हमारा तरीका एडमिशन का क्या है कि हम प्रोफाइल बेस्ड एडमिशन करते हैं। तो जैसा मैं पहले बता रहा था कि अगर आप हेल्थ केयर बैकग्राउंड से हैं तो आपको एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट्स मिलते हैं, या फिर आपने हेल्थ केयर फील्ड में काम किया है, आपने किसी हॉस्पिटल में काम किया है, या आपने किसी डायग्नोस्टिक लैब में काम किया है, या फार्मा कंपनी का काम किया है, तो आपको एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट्स मिलते हैं। और उस फाइनल पॉइंट्स मिलते हैं उसके हिसाब से हम एडमिशन ऑफर देते हैं। तो सीधा सीधा जवाब ये है मेरा कि आप एलिजिबल बिल्कुल हो। आपकी ओवरऑल जो प्रोफाइल रही है उसके बेसिस पे हम आपको इंटरव्यू के लिए बुलाएंगे, और इंटरव्यू में जिस तरह के आप जवाब देते हो उस पे हम जजमेंट लेंगे कि आप इस प्रोग्राम में के लिए अच्छे कैंडिडेट हो जाएंगे।
तो सिंपल थिंग बॉस कि eligible, you are eligible, but whether you will be selected depends on how you interact in the interview and how you express to the interviewer panel of your desire to be a healthcare professional. That's very important, right?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
तो सर इंटरव्यू के लिए एलिजिबल हो जाएंगे ना?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
हाँ,
थैंक यू,
उधर तक आ जाएगा आप, ठीक है।
थैंक यू।
मोनिका कटारिया प्लीज। मोनिका,
please unmute yourself.
मोनिका। जितेश प्रधान।
यस सर।
हाँ, पूछिएगा आपका क्वेश्चन।
सर मैं बी फार्म 3rd ईयर का स्टूडेंट हूँ।
अच्छा,
तो एमबीए के लिए मेरे को ये क्या कट ऑफ, ये एडमिशन के लिए क्या क्या चाहिए?
आपको सिर्फ किसी भी एक एग्जाम का स्कोर चाहिए।
यस
4 तरह के एग्जाम है, आप कोई सा भी ले सकते हो। कैट होता
यस
है, जैट होता है, सीमेट होता है, और जीमेट होता है।
जी
कैट
सर।
जैट सीमेट लगभग आसपास ही होते हैं, एक ही महीने के अंदर हो जाते हैं। तो आपको उनकी डेट्स जाननी है और रजिस्टर करना है, क्योंकि
जी सर।
हमको एक टेस्ट स्कोर चाहिए होता है, क्योंकि हम अपना खुद का टेस्ट नहीं लेते। तो अगर
जी
आपके पास किसी भी एंट्रेंस एग्जाम का स्कोर है तो आप ऑनलाइन हमारी वेबसाइट पे जाके फॉर्म भर सकते हो, और फिर आपको इंटरव्यू के लिए बुलाया जा रहा है, वो आपको ईमेल पे या फोन पे आपको जानकारी आ जाएगी। आप बी फार्म हो तो आप पक्के तौर पे एलिजिबल हो।
जी सर, क्या जीपैट के बेस में हो सकता है सर?
नहीं, जीपैट के बेसिस पे नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ एम फार्म के लिए क्वालिफिकेशन देता है।
जी सर।
इसके लिए आपको मैनेजमेंट के एंट्रेंस टेस्ट लेने पड़ेंगे, जो नाम मैंने बताया आपको।
जी सर। जी सर।
ठीक है। कुशाग्र शुक्ला, अनम्यूट कुशाग्र शुक्ला प्लीज।
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग
Sir, I want to just ask that your company of healthcare is ready to collaborate with colleges or for
नहीं,
applying in-
कुशाग्रा दिस इज अ बिजनेस एंड ये नहीं लूंगा मैं अभी। माय कंपनी विल पार्टिसिपेट विद समवन और कोलैबोरेट, वो अलग से बात करेंगे हम। आपको
Okay.
गोवा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट से कुछ क्वेश्चन करना है तो आप पूछिएगा प्लीज।
Okay.
ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच कुशाग्रा। मोनिका, वुड यू वांट टू अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ नाउ? मोनिका?
No, sir, she's not unmuted herself.
रितु, आपको विनेश मोथे, विनेश को अनम्यूट कीजिएगा प्लीज। विनेश, हाँ पूछिएगा विनेश।
Yeah.
You can ask a question, please.
Hi, Mr. Devasheesh and Mr. Puri. That was a great presentation, and we all understood what GM has to offer for the healthcare industry. I have been in the industry for the last 15 years, so I cannot join as a full-time or regular student or an aspirant. So what I'm interested in pursuing the same course in online.
Okay.
That was the reason why I asked you those the 6 domains will be covered or not if I join online.
Yeah, understood. So thanks, Vinesh. Thanks for complimenting us, and I'm glad that it helped you. Currently we don't have a 1-year program which is non-residential, but we are launching without taking the name, with a very popular name in edtech space. We are launching a program in March. The very first cohort will start their online MBA in healthcare program. So please look out for details on our website. It will come up very soon. So you can join that program. That essentially requires, if I remember it correctly, that program asks you to devote about 12 or 15 weeks over a period of 1 year. So it essentially is curated for working professionals, and so that you can study over weekends. So 80% of content is pre-packaged. It's recorded sessions. 20% is live sessions, so which are delivered only on the weekends when you are available. I hope that helps.
So Vinesh, I'll just add to what Devasheesh said. Over the next 1 year, Vinesh, you'll have lots of online programs, online MBA programs that will be, because the UGC, AICTE and all are, approving a lot of institutions, decent number of institutions who are pre-qualified based on a NAC score and an NIRF ranking, right? There's obviously they're giving that permission very selectively, but they're giving it, which was not the case earlier. So over the next 6 months, Vinesh, you will see good number of institutions which have come into the market to give online MBA for people like yourself. So keep your eyes and ears open. You will find them. Otherwise, keep visiting the site, and we're more than happy to deal with that. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so much,
much.
Vinesh. Thanks so much, Vinesh. Dr. Tanushree Chakrabarti.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I wanted to ask, till when can we expect a call letter for personal interviews and group discussions?
Okay. Every year we send out the intimation, people who are shortlisted for interviews somewhere around, so it's roughly around second week of February, second or third week of Feb. You will have all the details with you, because our shortlisting will happen anytime soon, because day after tomorrow is our last date to apply. So we will collect all the data. We'll carefully go through all that details for applications, and in Feb, around 10th Feb is, I would roughly say, you will get your intimation.
And sir, will it be a online or offline process?
Yeah, so last 2 years we've been doing online. It worked reasonably well for us, but because we love interacting with students physically, we are doing this year physically. Because it worked, the Achievers round we are doing physically, but looking at the current state of things, we have kept the GDPI session again for this year online. I beg your pardon. I was thinking that's what my personal wish, but we are sticking with online this year also.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
But Dr. Tanushree, one thing advice I'll give you, while you can attend the session online or offline and all, but please visit the any campus that you want to select and join there, because if you visit the campus, you'll get a better feel.
Yes,
So
actually, sir, I am working as an intern. I am a
I get your
doctor.
point. No, I get your point, ma'am. All I'm saying is, even if the session is done online, please take the pain of going and physically seeing the institution, because that's when you actually get the actual feel.
Absolutely.
So take that effort, because it's a life, it's a career at stake. So take that pain and take that effort, right? That's my advice as a counselor, right?
Thank
Abhishek Tiwari.
गुड इवनिंग सर, मैं अभिषेक तिवारी बात कर रहा हूँ।
जी बताइए
सर। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि जैसे मैंने डिप्लोमा कर रखा है मेडिकल लेबोरेटरीज में, उसके साथ साथ मेरा बायोटेक सेकंड ईयर रनिंग है। तो सर ये मतलब क्वालिफिकेशन इसका मिनिमम क्या होता है इसमें अप्लाई करने के लिए?
आपको ग्रेजुएशन बनना ही पड़ेगा अभिषेक।
ओके,
मैं सीधा बता रहा हूँ आपको। सी ए मास्टर्स कम्स आफ्टर बैचलर, सिंपल सी बात है यार।
So
when you want to do any master's program, you need to be a bachelor's.
Actually सर, मेरा एक्चुअली जो है मैंने डिप्लोमा ऑलरेडी कर रखा है मेडिकल लेबोरेटरी से, और मेरे पास एक्सपीरियंस भी है सर एटलीस्ट 2 to 3 ईयर का। देन मेरा बायोटेक फाइनल ईयर इसमें मतलब रनिंग है।
So to add to what Mahesh was just mentioning, आपको by the time you are स्टार्टिंग, आप जब शुरू कर रहे हो अपना एमबीए, तब तक आपका फाइनल रिजल्ट आपके हाथ में आ जाना चाहिए। तो आप अभी अप्लाई कर सकते हो, भले आप फाइनल ईयर में हो, लेकिन आपके जब तक आप यहाँ ज्वाइन करोगे तब तक आपके एग्जाम्स हो जाने चाहिए और होपफुली रिजल्ट्स आ जाना चाहिए, ताकि यू कैन कंटिन्यू। बिकॉज इफ बाय एनी चांस यू आर अनेबल टू क्लियर, देन यू विल बी रिमूव फ्रॉम द प्रोग्राम। आपको एमबीए तो नहीं कर सकते हो।
और दूसरा अभिषेक, एक और भी होने वाला है अभी नया एजुकेशन पॉलिसी। आप शायद you would be listening to a lot of people on new education policy. The new education policy, a diploma holder, if they study for 1 more year, get a graduation certificate, right? Because NEP talks of initial thing and then diploma and then degree, right? तो मेरे हिसाब से ना, आपको अगर आपको वो ग्रेजुएशन नहीं भी करोगे ना, आपके पास डिप्लोमा रहेगा ना, तो 1 साल पढ़ाई करने के बाद आपको शायद ग्रेजुएशन मिल जाएगा. जस्ट वेट फॉर द अनाउंसमेंट फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट. यूजीसी बहुत अनाउंसमेंट कर रही है इसके बारे में, ठीक है. सो जस्ट कीप योर आईज ओपन ऑन दैट.
थैंक यू सर.
या सौरभ महाले.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Sir, my question is that currently I am pursuing final year B Farm.
Acha.
So is it mandatory for me to qualify NMAT, CMAT, or directly I can get admitted to the?
See, it's mandatory because these are the AICTE guidelines that where any institution in India, you have to have a valid entrance exam score.
Yes.
So we have chosen 4 entrance exams for us. और भी होते हैं, but we have chosen that we will only allow students जिन्होंने इन 4 में से कोई से भी एग्जाम दिए हों, which are CAT, ZAT, CMAT, and GMAT.
Sir, do we have cutoff for this?
So for all the other programs other than healthcare, I mean, sorry, for PGDM there is a cutoff, which is
No, for sir, healthcare.
For healthcare there is no cutoff. Healthcare में we do admissions based on the profile of the candidate, but having a valid score is important.
So आपको ये भी बता दूं कि अभी CMAT का भी एग्जाम नहीं हुआ है, तो अप्लाई कर लीजिएगा और इस पे अप्लाई डाल दीजिएगा, बिकॉज आपका CAT खत्म हो गया, ZAT होने वाला है, एप्लीकेशन डेडलाइन खत्म हो गया. GMAT और CMAT आपके हाथ में है, तो वो दोनों में कहीं ना कहीं आपको करना ही पड़ेगा.
Yes. Okay, thank you, sir. And sir, what is the duration of our course?
2 years, sir.
2 years.
Sorry.
And
directly कोई भी MBA आपको 2 साल का रहेगा, उसमें 1.5 साल नॉर्मली पढ़ाई रहती है और 6 महीने का इंटर्नशिप रहेगा, वो देख लेना आप प्लीज.
Sir, institution location, we have only Goa or some other locations also?
It's
only
Goa. The local
Only
area
Goa.
is Sanquilum. It's northeast of Goa.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Puneet, unmute yourself. Puneet, unmute yourself. Shubhangi?
Sir, I've given him the access.
नहीं कर रहे हैं.
Puneet had to ask the questions in starting. Maybe he was raising his hand.
No, he's been raising his hand for some time now. That's the reason why I actually wanted him to. So there is one more question that's come.
Sir, he's unmuted. Puneet is unmuted.
हाँ, Puneet पूछिएगा please. Puneet?
Still not saying.
सौरभ, आपका एक और क्वेश्चन है क्या?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, पूछिएगा.
Sir, I wanted to ask what will be the opportunities after completion of this course?
अरे यार, इतना मैंने आपने ये पूरा रामायण बताया था देवशीष तक. अभी आप सीता को नहीं पूछ रहे हो. तो
I think it's मैं रिपीट तो नहीं कर पाऊंगा सौरभ. Sorry महेश, but I think it's better if you rewatch the video on
ये आपको वीडियो भेज देंगे हम पुनीत,
Yes,
और इसमें पूरा आ जाएगा.
It will give you a very good idea. But to add to that, आप जब just go to the website, GIM का website पे जाके click on programs. Under programs, you will find a button of PGDM HCM. In that, you will find our annual report. Just download that and read it. You will have all the information.
Otherwise, the other way of dealing with it is go to Careers360 website. उधर ना placement में course wise placement रहेगा, वो उधर मिल जाएगा. ठीक है. प्रणय वैद्या, can you unmute yourself? प्रणय वैद्या. Yeah, Pranay, go on. Yeah, go on, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
सर मेरा BSc माइक्रोबायोलॉजी हो गया है सर फरवरी में 2020 में सर लास्ट. तो सर मैं इंटर्नशिप नहीं किया सर. मैं प्रिपरेशन कर रहा था सर इसकी कैट की. तो सर कोई इंटरव्यू के वक्त सर कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं होगा सर?
नहीं, तो पहली बात आप ये बताओ कि आपके पास डिग्री आ गई है या डिग्री उसकी वजह से रुकी हुई है?
1 साल लगता है सर डिग्री को, यानी आने को टाइम है.
डिग्री आपके पास जब आएगी तभी आप अपीयर हो सकते हैं
सर. फाइनल सेम 6 सेम की मार्कशीट आ गई है सर, यानी रिजल्ट लग गया है मेरा.
अच्छा,
डिग्री आने को 1 साल लगता है सर.
नहीं, मैं क्योंकि आपने इंटर्नशिप के बारे में पूछा, तो आपकी डिग्री में इंटर्नशिप करना जरूरी है तभी डिग्री मिलेगी?
नहीं सर, ऐसा कुछ नहीं सर.
हाँ, तो आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो और मार्कशीट आ गई है तो आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो.
So for
But जब
all
आप
BSc
एडमिशन लेने
programs,
आओगे,
so Devashish, for all BSc programs, there is no internship that's
हाँ,
compulsory.
yeah, I thought so, but I still wanted to ask him अगर उनकी
Yeah, sir,
यूनिवर्सिटी
yeah.
में कुछ अगर ऐसा,
Yeah,
so
sir.
you can by law you can apply, and as I said, जो मैं
Yeah.
बाकी लोगों को बता रहा था कि आपके पास एक एंट्रेंस एग्जाम का स्कोर होना चाहिए, and when you take
हाँ.
admission, you'll have to submit your final degree.
तो प्रणय,
Sir,
I'll put things in perspective. आपको ग्रेजुएट बननी है और आपको कैट एग्जाम जो आपने बोला था कि आप लिख रहे थे उसका स्कोर चाहिए। आपके पास जब भी ग्रेजुएशन सर्टिफिकेट रहेगा और कैट स्कोर आएगा ना, कैट स्कोर के हिसाब से आपको इंटरव्यू पे बुलाया दिया जाएगा। बट बिफोर यू जॉइन इन, प्लीज बी श्योर दैट कि आपके पास ग्रेजुएशन का सर्टिफिकेट हाथ में रहे।
सर,
अगर
ग्रेजुएशन का सर्टिफिकेट in the sense, sir, only I have, sir, till now 6 semester mark sheet, sir. Only 6 semester mark sheet.
But
other than that, I don't have, sir, anything.
उसके बेसिस पे can you ask the university to give you a provisional certificate that you have cleared all the necessary, आपने सारे एग्जाम्स दे दिए हैं, अब कुछ बचा नहीं है?
So Devashesh, I'll explain to you what happens here. Pranay, I'll be
give,
your
sir,
lawyer. Pranay, I will explain to Devashesh your
sir.
problem.
Sorry,
because
sir.
I also come
Sorry,
from
sir.
Andhra, where जो graduation certificate होती है ना Devashesh, it
Yeah.
comes 1 year, 2 years later because it comes from the
Okay, okay.
university.
So then I'll apologize because I don't think I should answer this question.
Yeah.
But Pranay, I will encourage you to get in touch with GM's admissions office because उन्होंने ये इस तरह केसेस बहुत देखे होंगे. They will properly advise you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
So Pranay, मैं आपको I'll explain to you how these things will work. जब तक आपके पूरे मार्कशीट जहां पास रहेगा ना, वो चल जाएगा आपके लिए, क्योंकि all these people understand कि थोड़े degree certificates which come from the major, like वो क्या होता है ना Devashesh, for example, you come from a Calcutta University gives it to the college gives it to you. So what the student has at any point in time is a pass of the semesters कि पूरे semester उसने बच्चे ने पास किया है.
Correct.
But वो जो रहते हैं ना convocation में देते हैं, वो जब convocation होता है तभी मिलता है.
अच्छा.
Yeah, sir. That's right, sir. That's right.
Yep. I have a feeling कि कुछ केसेस होंगे ऐसे, and we always try to help the student out. तो अगर आपका genuine case है, I don't see any problem. But what the law is, जो law बोलता है वो we follow that. So please get in touch with the admissions office. They'll resolve your doubt.
Sir,
Pranay, typically ऐसी चीजों में आपको मिल जाता है मेरे भाई, तो चिंता मत करो अब इसके बारे में.
नहीं सर, चिंता नहीं कर रहा सर. थैंक यू सर. मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है सर और सर, क्या कैट का सर स्कोर कुछ कट ऑफ रहेगा सर, कुछ यानी कि आपको इतना चाहिए एडमिशन के लिए डिग्री के साथ?
या क्योंकि हमारे सिर्फ 60 सीट्स हैं, HCM में एक्चुअली कंपटीशन काफी ज्यादा होता है. वी गेट अ लॉट ऑफ एप्लीकेशन.
मैं देखा सर.
हाँ, तो हमारी कोई कट ऑफ नहीं है, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकली कट ऑफ बन जाती है क्योंकि हम कैट स्कोर को भी कुछ वेटेज देते हैं, है ना. तो जितना ज्यादा स्कोर है उतना अच्छा है. तो अगर मैं ये बोलूं कि कोई 50% पे इस प्रोग्राम में आया होगा, ऐसा कभी भी नहीं हो सकता. लेकिन ये जरूर है कि हाँ, बिलो 80 भी आते हैं एंड दे परफॉर्म वेल इन द कोर्स बिकॉज दे हैव अ पैशन फॉर हेल्थ केयर. तो कट ऑफ हमने कोई जानबूझ के रखी नहीं है, क्योंकि हमें मालूम है कि जैसे क्योंकि हेल्थ केयर प्रोग्राम है और बहुत आधे, जैसे मैं बता रहा था कि आधा बैच लाइफ साइंसेज बैकग्राउंड से आता है. तो अब कोई अगर डॉक्टर है, MBBS BDS है, तो कंपेयर टू इंजीनियर्स वो इतना MBA पे ध्यान नहीं देते, राइट. तो हो सकता है किसी बच्चे ने 15 दिन की तैयारी के बाद कैट दिया हो, तो उसको बेकार में हम रिजेक्ट क्यों करें अगर उसका स्कोर कम आया है, ऑल्दो उनको पूरी नॉलेज है उस फील्ड में. इसलिए हमने कोई कैट का कट ऑफ नहीं रखा है. हम इंटरव्यू में सारी जानकारी ले लेते हैं और पता लग जाता है कि वो काम कर पाएंगे नहीं.
सर मेरा कैट का स्कोर कम है सर, बाय द वे. थोड़ा
चिंता मत करो, आपको रिस्पॉन्स मिलेगा. मैं I'll also tell you one more thing for all the students here. See, a CAT score is not meant to judge you. It's just at many times na, because I know the best institutions जहां BA आर्ट्स के बंदे को देते हैं जहां परसेंटाइल 60 रहता है, because they're not supposed to be knowing quants, they're not supposed to be knowing mathematics.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
so understand that when an institution wants to take you, the CAT is just a filter that they are using so that you have a basic thing, but it doesn't mean that you should be in the top of the charts. It doesn't mean that way. If you're a BA art student or you're a B pharmacy student, you're not supposed to know quant. So they give a concession for that, and they give a weightage to that also, and understand. Don't worry about those things. Please understand. Okay?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Abrar Khan.
So Puneet is finally unmuted.
पुनीत इसके पहले पूछ लिया ना पुनीत ने?
नहीं सर, पुनीत का क्वेश्चन नहीं हुआ.
पुनीत आप पूछ लीजिएगा प्लीज. पुनीत को प्लीज साइड में रख लीजिएगा. अबरार, कैन यू अनम्यूट अबरार? आसिफ अली, अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. आसिफ अली
सर.
हाँ, पूछिएगा आपका क्वेश्चन. आसिफ?
No.
Yeah, we can hear you, Asif. Please go on.
Yes, sir.
Asif,
Sir, I
पूछिएगा.
am a B from fourth year student. Yes, sir. I am B from fourth year student. Sir, my question is, how can I apply this course? How can I apply your course? Sir, join this course.
Devasheesh, I'll take this question.
Yeah,
It's a
sure.
simple answer, so I'll take it up. It doesn't, require it. So Asif, आपको ना CAT, GMAT, XAT या एक और एग्जाम है NMAT, ये चारों एग्जाम में कहीं ना कहीं आपको अपेयर करना पड़ेगा. आपको आपका बी फार्मेसी में पास होना पड़ेगा. टेक वन ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशंस. आज के दिन में CMAT और GMAT ही सिर्फ ओपन है आपके. ये दोनों में कहीं एग्जाम लिखिएगा, उसका स्कोर और आपका ग्रेजुएशन सर्टिफिकेट पास मार्क्स के साथ आप प्लीज अप्लाई कर दीजिएगा. GIM का अभी एट दिस पॉइंट टाइम द एप्लीकेशंस आर ओपन. गो थ्रू द एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म, यू दे विल एग्जैक्टली टेल यू व्हाट इज इट दैट्स रिक्वायर्ड. और आपको कहीं भी क्वेश्चन रहेगा ना आसिफ, आप मुझे पर्सनली मेल कीजिएगा. मेरा मेल आईडी है mahesh@careers360.com. आई विल रेस्पॉन्ड पर्सनली टू यू. आसिफ नोट कीजिएगा, mahesh@careers360.com. मेरा मेल आईडी मैं नॉर्मली किसी को देता नहीं, मैं अभी आपको दे रहा हूँ. प्लीज आस्क मी एंड आई विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू यू ऑन दिस. ठीक है?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay,
I think Devasheesh, we've overshot the time, so some of them are very generic questions. You understood when I try to set up the context that some questions are pretty right.
Fair enough.
ठीक है. तो in conclusion, Devasheesh, would you mind telling the student of the kind of student who must choose specialization, the kind of student who must choose health sciences, and how it the kind of future that holds for these students?
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Mahesh. I think I'll summarize what we have been discussing over last 75 minutes and putting all the questions in context. If you are a good student for PGDM Healthcare Management Program, if you want to build a career in healthcare, and you want to understand more about how healthcare services are delivered, right? So if you're a doctor, you only know how hospitals work, you can join this program and you'll get to know how the manufacturing of medicines and medical devices work. If you are an engineer, you only know coding, you can build on your skills, you can work for healthcare clients, and you can specifically work for the fastest growing sector. So any type of student is a good student for us. We don't have a cutoff. We only shortlist based on profiles. Our batch consists of all types of degree holders, right from MBBS, BDS to BTech, BE to BCom and BA, because we don't distinguish and discriminate. It's only a matter of how motivated you are. So if you want to go and work for, let's say, in simpler words, if you think you want to go and work for a company like Johnson & Johnson, or you want to go and work for Dr. Reddy's or Narayana Health Hospitals, or even Ministry of Health in Delhi, then this is a good program for you to join. So you get to spend about 18 months in classroom, you do 10 weeks of internship, and then you can participate in the recruitment. So you end up with an MBA with a specific skill set which is applicable to healthcare.
Thank you so much, Devasheesh. It was a pleasure talking to you. I'll give you a call sometime soon, because I came to Goa Institute of Management about 4-5 years back here.
Okay.
And by the way, I visited your heritage campus also. So
Oh,
I'm pretty
right.
old in that space, in this
Nice.
space. Right? And when it moved from the heritage building to the new campus, initially I was very agitated that why are we moving away from a heritage building?
Yeah. Even we were.
But when I saw the new campus, all my doubts were rest assured.
Right.
To the students, I can tell you one thing, that when you join a Goa Institute of Management, which is AACSP accredited, NRF ranked, consistently delivering year on year and having their alumni all over the place, anywhere in the world you go, you will find alumni. I always tell students, please look at the alumni network, please look at the accreditations, and please look at the legacy of the institution. right? And in all these three, there the checkbox is perfectly ticked as far as Goa Institute of Management is concerned. The legacy is perfect. It's actually a philanthropic institution meant for only education. It is AAC SB accredited, NRF ranked, and it's got alumni all over the world. So you're in a safe hands if you join Goa Institute of Management, is all I'll say. I'll not endorse any further, but I'm simply saying that these three checkboxes are very important for me, and all these three checkboxes are ticked as far as Goa Institute of Management is concerned. So, good luck to all of you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye bye. Good luck.
Thanks so much, Devasheesh.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.